Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all back to session 2 of this particular morning. And this is a very special session for us all because we have one of the greatest scholars of our time, inshallah, who will be addressing us all with a very pertinent title and talk. The esteemed speaker and guest, our esteemed speaker and guest, many of you know him, is the Honorable Sheikh Musa Menk from Harare, Zimbabwe, originally from India, but settled in Zimbabwe in 1965. And I know our Sheikh will not be happy for this to be said, but I can't help myself, so forgive me. But I, as well as many, we consider him to be the reviver of Islam in Zimbabwe. And the efforts that he's done in Zimbabwe transcends the borders of Zimbabwe, because many Zimbabweans have taken posts as imams and mu'adhins and teachers in other educational institutes after graduating from Maulana's center, Hafidahullah, in Zimbabwe. But his work does not only or is not confined to that particular or to the country per se, and the efforts on the ground and the grassroots or the grassroots efforts, etc. It also transcends into other mediums and realms. For our Shaykh Hafidahullah has great respect in the Arab world, in the African world, in the Indian subcontinent world, as well as he's a trustee of many Darul Ulooms and founder of many madrasas and masjids and Darul Ulooms, as well as advisors on many Islamic panels and boards, Hafidahullah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve him in his obedience and grant him good health. He came all the way here, may Allah preserve him. And today was quite a hectic day because we prayed Fajr in Durban and we flew to Johannesburg and came straight to the venue. And mashallah, he is here. Many young people cannot manage this particular feat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from him. Without further ado, I will pass the microphone across. The title of the talk is Tolerance Within Our Ranks.
Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون صدق الله العظيم. My respected brothers and sisters, indeed I am very glad to address, to talk to my brothers and sisters at this particular venue, and as it is mentioned, our topic is tolerance within our rank. I always say that tolerance is very, very important for each and every Muslim particularly, and every human being in general. We cannot live comfortably in this world if we have no tolerance. About 20 years ago, we, ulama in Zimbabwe, discussed in our meetings and mashwara about tolerance. And we had those days some problem that some non-Muslim, they used to write certain articles in daily newspapers against Islam because they did not understand, or they could not understand the true meaning of some particular issue in Islam, like women's right or human right or something else, and they used to write against Islam. So we have decided that instead of responding them every time, we used to respond. We have decided that instead of responding every time, rather we publish some small article, if possible every week, in the same daily newspaper, and we positively or constructively we can explain all these issues which they have doubt about. And we have decided to give that small article, not very big, maybe 5 by 5 centimeters. And our first article was about tolerance. And indirectly our message was to Muslims and non-Muslims to tolerate each other, and as we have to live in this world comfortably and peacefully, so we have to tolerate. And our first article was, in fact, our heading was, Al-Quran Yatahaddath, the Holy Quran speaks. And first article was, La Tansawul Fadla Bainakum. Do not forget to do good to each other. Do not forget to do favors to each other. That was translation of the small ayah of the Holy Quran. And little explanation we mentioned in the same newspaper that look, we all live in this world and we depend upon each other in order to live comfortable life in this world. Every human being, or in our case we can say every Muslim, in order to live his life, he depends upon thousands of people to prepare his food, or his shelter, his transport, his clothing. When thousands of people will work, then these things will be ready and he will use and will live comfortably in this world. So a person who depends upon thousands of people, if he does not practice tolerance, his life will be very difficult. The same way, in our case, we Muslims, we depend upon each other, and every day we meet each other in the masjid and so many other places, so we have to learn and tolerate each other. And we are not all same type of people. Our thinking, our all habits are different. As we say always, that no two minds are unanimous in everything in the world. So always there are differences. Even in every home, every office, every masjid, every madrasa, wherever you go, wherever there are two people, you will find differences and difference of opinion. So we have to tolerate, and we have to learn what is tolerance and how we tolerate each other. So we gave some explanation that our lives in this world is interdependent, and we live in interdependent society. So we have to learn tolerance. So when we published this article, we received so many letters of appreciation from Muslims, non-Muslims, and from all races and colors. And it was so much encouraged that until now, every week for 20 years, we published that type of article. And very many people, they actually still write letter. Some people also accept Islam through that article. And after some years, we change our topic, especially when incidents of cartoon of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has happened. we change our topic, saying of Muhammad, the final messenger of Allah. And Alhamdulillah, it's going very successfully. So what I want to say, that tolerance is very important. We should respect each other, and talk, dialogue is always important and successful. Try to understand each other. Many a times we fight for nothing, and our opinion is one, but we could not understand, or we cannot understand each other. So it is important to understand and respect other people's opinion. Tolerance is very important. In the same way, unity. Tolerance and unity always go together. Especially for our Muslim community nowadays, unity and al-ittihad is very, very important. We see in the world all nations and people, communities, and all ism, either you can say capitalism, communism, and so many ism, all are united against you and me. All are united and they have one voice. We can see that this is differentism and this is differentism. If you study deeply, there are no difference. And when it comes to Islam, they are united. And what full force and full unity, they want to prove two things. Number one, day and night, they're working hard. We can say non-Muslim on the earth, except very few. They want to prove 2 points. That Islam is very bad religion, number one. Number two, Muslims are very bad people. If you will see any newspaper, magazine, go anywhere, whenever they find any small issue, they will try to prove these things. So what should we do? We are Muslims. We are peace-loving people. And we don't want to cause any problem. In fact, we believe that every Muslim has right over other Muslim, and every human being has right over us. We should respect every human being. And Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. In fact, we are brothers and sisters. We are created from single male and female. So we have to respect everyone. So what should we do? I think it is the right time for us to leave all our differences aside and come together, and we also want to prove two things. And inshallah, if even 10-20% of Muslims in the world, if they do and practice upon this thing, then inshallah we will be successful. If even 10-20% of Muslims in the world, if they do and practice upon this thing, then inshallah we will be successful. We want to prove two things. We want to be united, one voice, and prove two things. That Islam is the best religion even today, as we have heard from our Dr. Ibrahim, Brother Ibrahim, just a few minutes ago, that Islam, even his mother said, except Islam, that Islam is the best religion. We want to prove it by our tolerance, by our characters, by our treatment to them, by respecting them, and we can manage that. Secondly, also we want to prove that Muslims are the best people even today in this world. Yesterday, I had given some example in Zimbabwe. 1 or 2 years ago, son of one of our ministers, he came to us and our center and said, Sheikh, I want to accept Islam. I asked him, why you want to accept Islam? Did you read some book or something, or you met someone? He said, no, I didn't read anything. But he said that he is manager of national football team. And he said we went to Egypt with our football team. And Muslims in Egypt, they gave us so much respect. They served and they made so much khidmat that we were surprised. And we haven't seen such a welcome anywhere else in the world. We went to Christian people, European, other race, other religion, but nowhere we found such a good hospitality and welcome, which we found in Egypt. And he said that I thought for 3 days that what is the reason why these Egyptian football people, football players, they were not shuyukh, not ulama, not learned people, but why they respect us so much. And he said after 3 days, I managed to understand that whatever, everything we have, they have same thing. Only one thing is different, that we are not Muslim, we are not Muslim, they are Muslims. We don't have Islam, they have Islam. So the reason could be only one, that is Islam. And that's why I want to accept Islam. And he accepted Islam. So Alhamdulillah, that is only one incident or one story, but you will find thousands of people like this in the world. And you can imagine, if all Muslims, they give good treatment to non-Muslims, or even to Muslims, and to everyone, then world, the situation of world would have been different. So unity and tolerance is very, very important for us. Even those people we are sitting here, if we decide that we want to change our life, we want to go out of our way in order to serve humanity, in order to serve our Muslim brothers, in order to serve needy people, then you will see the situation will be totally different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned unity in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started saying, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu taqullah haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. So, in order to explain importance of unity in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not mention directly unity. But first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us that look, unity is very important. Oh, you who believe, be conscious of your duty to Allah. Ittaqullah. That look, you have duty to Allah. You cannot live your life as you like and as you wish. This life is great gift, divine gift given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, you be conscious of your duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ittaqullah. Some people, they translate, oh, you who believe, fear Allah as He should be feared. The same thing, that fear Allah, meaning just be conscious of your duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ittaqullah, word ittaqullah, Allah has mentioned at many places, but nowhere haqqa tuqati. Only at one place. Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu ittaqullah haqqa tuqati. As He should be feared. Keep in mind about your duty to Allah as you should have done. So, after that Allah said, Haqqa tuqati wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun, and do not die but as Muslims. That means practice Islam each and every minute or second of your life. Throughout your life, practice Islam, so you will die as Muslim. So try your best not to die, but as Muslims. So this is actually some explanation Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in order to make us understand importance of unity. Then Allah mentioned, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast by the rope of Allah all together and do not be separate. All together, rope of Allah, ulama and mufassirin have said that is Holy Quran. Hold fast, meaning learn Holy Quran, try to understand, practice upon Holy Quran, and preach this message of Allah to other people. Holy Quran is very, very great and effective language and effective word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And thus we talk about tazkiyah, purifying our nafs, our soul. The best thing to use is Holy Quran. At the time of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they had so many bad qualities, and as soon as they heard and understood message of Allah through Quran, they accepted Islam. Like Umar radiallahu anhu. We know very well he was actually, what was his life and before Islam. And he had no tolerance at all. Always he used to take out his sword for every small thing. No tolerance at all. When he heard Holy Quran at his sister's house, Taha, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Taha, ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa. And his heart was melted and started crying and said, please take me to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came to actually kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And because of one or two ayahs from the Holy Quran, he heard, and immediately his heart is changed. And he went to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, accepted Islam. So the same Quran we have in front of us. So if we try to understand this Quran, I always advise those brothers and sisters who cannot understand Holy Quran, who don't know Arabic language, I always advise them that read your Quran without understanding, no problem. You will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But make a habit that every day one ayah gets some authentic translation and tafsir commentary from some authentic book, and read and translation of one ayah every day and commentary. And whole day you ponder over that ayah. In the morning you read one ayah with translation, commentary, go to your work. Our sisters, if they're at home, they can do their work. Or while doing your work, you ponder over that ayah which you read today. And you will have two benefits. Number one, your mind whole day will be occupied in understanding of words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of this ayah. Number two, you will have proper tazkiyah. Your heart will be purified, because Quran is very powerful in tazkiyah. Nothing is more powerful than the Holy Quran. You know, it is said that one person in Baghdad, he was robber and thief. So every day evening, he used to go and rob people or steal something. One day, he was delayed. And he came, while he was coming back home, he found masjid on his way. He went to the masjid and said, let me perform my salah. And he joined Imam, and Imam read in his qira'ah. Of course, he was Arab. Arabic language was his own language. Imam Sahib has recited, Alam ya'ni lilladhina amanu أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق. Is it not right time for believing people that their hearts should tremble when mention of Allah is being made? So he understood what is the message, started crying. Quran, actually message of Quran came to him. Is it not right time for you to leave all these things, robbing, stealing, and this thing, and make tawbah and repentance to Allah? So he started crying, went to some sheikh of the time, and he started learning Islam, so much so that later he became saint of the city, and his life was changed. One ayah, so that is tazkiyah, heart was purified. So if we read one ayah, even those who don't understand translation, a day, then inshallah we will see after a few days our life will be different. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Quran, hold fast by the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is Quran. Nabi sallallahu, regarding unity, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said in his hadith, عن النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد إن اشتكى عضوه تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى متفق عليه. Very important hadith. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said similarity of believing people. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said regarding real unity. Real unity. Nowadays we do not understand unity, and lip service we regard it as unity. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said example, similarity of Muslims regarding their mutual love and mercy and kindness is like parts of one body, limbs of one body. In ishtaka is if one part of our body is in pain, then each and every part remain awake all night and suffers. Each and every part suffers because there is pain in some other part of the body. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam has explained exactly that what is unity, that Muslims should be together. And if we study this hadith, then we will find that our body, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made in such a way that when something happened to our small part like finger, that immediately all other parts of body will run to its help without any prior request, without any application. For example, something happened to our finger, immediately our eye will look. What has happened? Is there any wound? How deep? Immediately our tongue will start speaking. Immediately our ears will start listening to people or doctor or transport. Our foot or feet immediately will start walking. So our mind immediately will start thinking in order to help this finger. And no prior request. So that should be condition of Muslims community in the world. That was Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that we should help each other in such a way that every person in this world should live comfortable lives. So this is exactly unity, and there are so many hadiths, so many ayats of the Holy Quran you will find about real unity. And also, when we study our body parts, we will see that every part of our body has some particular function and particular faculty. So that part uses that faculty for itself and for other parts as well. Not alone. Like, say, our hand. Hands have faculty of touching, catching, lifting. So hands will lift in order to help them, the same way in order to help other parts of the body. So it is our duty as Muslims that whatever faculty, whatever resources, whatever gift of Allah we have, we should use for ourselves and use for other Muslims as well, in order to strengthen Islam, in order to strengthen our unity, in order to make lives of our Muslim brothers and sisters comfortable. We should use everything, all our faculties and all our resources. That is teaching of Islam, that is tolerance in Islam and unity in Islam. And if we, few people who are sitting here, if we practice, then inshallah, and preach this message and give this type of treatment to our brothers and sisters, then you will see within 5 years, we will see in this locality, our Muslim community, there will be real unity and tolerance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide myself, yourself, and every Muslim to the right path and to understand real tolerance and unity and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil